going to call forward students from Acacia, and I get that's one, Andrew Pedroza and Julia Mitchell are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, so if you'll come forward, please. I do have a couple things to report out from our closed session. We voted with one abstention to approve final settlement compromise and release agreement between the Fullerton School District and parents of student ID number 757196. The district agrees to reimburse to the parents an amount not to exceed $3,000 in satisfaction of all reasonable attorney's fees and costs in OAH case number 2011081190 upon presentation of documentation as identified in paragraph 3 as part of this agreement payable to the client trust fund of Champlin and Lucia LLP. And we have one other wonderful announcement to make out of closed session in a 5-0 vote. We did select a new principal tonight for Beechwood Elementary School. And we're pleased to say that Julie Graham will be continuing on. Abby, you have a few words you'd like to say?
Well, we are extremely pleased that Julie Graham will rejoin us. As many of you know, she was principal in this district of Commonwealth School, then became a program specialist for Ed Services back in August of '07. She's been serving in an interim capacity at Woodcrest School since September of 2011. And I think that was the bug that got her back. She says, I've got to get back on the school campus. So, Julie, we're proud to have you back, and we congratulate you on your selection. We know you'll do a great job as principal of Beechwood School. She'll be starting, ending up at Woodcrest tomorrow, and then she'll be starting at Beechwood on Thursday, sort of an overlap for the rest of the week. So congratulations to you.
Very exciting. I also want to announce that our board meeting is audio taped and maybe videotaped and streamlined to the internet. And then we will move on to the next item, which as we're wrapping up another year, hard to believe. It's time for us to reorganize as a board of trustees. So, I think I have oh, here. Sorry, no, it was here. We have several officers to elect, and we'll start with president. At this point, entertain a motion for a president for the next year.
I make a motion to elect Hilda Sugarman as our president for next year.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that Hilda Sugarman serve as president for next year. All in favor, say aye. Sure.
I just want to ask a question. I just want to know how you're going to feel about using your chairman's right to put any interested agenda item on the agenda by the board members. Will you be, how open will you be to putting agenda items on the board just as courtesy as chairman?
I'll be as open as it follows our policy that we need a second person, and I'm very happy to put it on the agenda.
You won't put them on your own, just on request?
I don't think that there's a problem. Why not?
So you will?
I may. I mean, depends how controversial.
That's what I'm looking for. I want a chairman that will put things on the agenda based upon request, just as a courtesy, because it's been a problem to get things on the agenda.
I think I'm an open-minded leader, but we have a policy, and to usurp a policy means what's the point of having it?
So is the answer no, or is the answer yes?
The answer is you probably need to find a second.
Okay.
Or you need to have the board policy changed.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor of electing Hilda Sugarman to serve as the president for the upcoming year, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Okay, point then, I'm going to hand the gavel over to the president and allow her to continue the rest of the meeting. So,
Thank you, Lynn. But before we have the rest of the meeting, just a little bit. I'm on behalf of the board and Dr. Hovey, I want to thank you for your leadership this past year. We've accomplished a lot. We've welcomed 2 new board members onto our board. We have revisited our strategic plan and committed to keep steadfast to our vision for implementation of high-quality education for all of our students. We've dealt with more budget cuts. Our board, administrators, school, and community have come together as never before in formal and informal support of high-quality education in our community. The level of community fiscal support is huge and heartwarming. Thank you for leading us, and we have a present for you.
oh, surprise.
This is a piece of art from one of the students in our school district that is framed, and we hope you'll enjoy it in your home.
It's my house colors. Thank you.
For those of you who know me, you won't know that I do have a comment to make. I'm honored to be your president this coming year. There are many things impacting our work in education. On the top are finances and burdens of mounting regulations. Our dollars are reduced while increased regulations, concerns for healthy students, the need for equity in technology, and continuing staff development are costly items. Over the past few years, the state has cut approximately 20% of funding dollars to our schools. To offset those losses, we have had the effective development of foundations and greater giving. Tonight, the board will accept donations from 2 of our foundations. Many of our schools now have a foundation plus PTA to augment shortfalls in the government support for high-quality public education. Indeed, a high-quality public education is expensive. A question for our board. Through rich dialogue and collaborative efforts, will our board be able to find feasible solutions to the problems that face us? That prevailing thought has been heavy on my mind lately. And this morning, I recalled a situation in my home last Sunday. In front of us, you can see 3 beautiful gingerbread houses. Before our Sunday dinner, it seemed like a nice time to make gingerbread houses. 4 generations entered the kitchen. All the adults thinking, can the kids make the frosting stick to hold the houses together? Even our 6-year-old knew that frosting is impossible. It never holds the houses together. Then someone thought outside of the box and threw out an idea. Let's use a glue gun. I got the glue gun. The 6-year-old switched to a house with 4 pieces, and the children started construction with increased enthusiasm as the adults looked on. The glue worked. During the construction, one child said, in the olden days, they must have had glue in the frosting. Indeed, things changed. The goal of our project was to enjoy making successful gingerbread houses and to create a winter village. Obviously, both goals were reached. In our district, we want to reach our student learning goals. The board wants students to have a successful, high-quality, standards-based, well-rounded education. Staff needs to be provided the tools for reaching those goals. Innovation and creativity will supply the glue. Parts of that glue, that innovation, may come out of professional learning communities, continued implementation of 21st century learning, staff development opportunities, or two-way communication with our community. Fullerton School District has shown that we are a can-do, innovative school district. Our advancements in student academic success are amazing thanks to strong site leaders, dedicated staff, and our more involved communities. We now have a district-wide API of 861. 861, awesome. All the Arts continues to reach every K-6 student. Our outdoor science, overnight trips, 21st century learning, middle year international baccalaureate, and multi-age programs have grown during these days of economic crisis. Believe it or not, our Fullerton home values have not plummeted as much as in the case of many of our local communities. It is the high-quality academic successes of our Fullerton schools that has made people want to live in our community and help sustain home prices. The administration, led by the superintendent, has been creative in implementing board decisions, and our teachers have used innovation as they implement change. The result is a better house of education, and the glue is the innovation. We, the board, district leaders, staff, and community all need to look with open eyes at how we do our business as we try to accomplish our district goals. Looking at things with a new light can spark innovation. Through innovation, we may find better ways to use less dollars as we work to maintain our best programs. Innovation is not new to this district. For example, as I visit schools, teachers show me how they use data to chart student learning and pinpoint student needs. Teachers are giving students more direct and independent work with iPod touches, iPads, and laptops. That allows the teacher to move around the classroom and help students having special needs. Our Fullerton Elementary Teachers Association is working in collaboration with our district to find appropriate measures of honest, effective teacher evaluation. Talk about innovation. Classified employees and administration have implemented new systems to ensure our schools are clean and safe while spending fewer dollars. Last year, our Saturday School for students with absences returned funds for 5,086 student days. That is an innovative way to support student learning and keep school funding. Fullerton wants a high-quality education system. The board is working with leadership using open dialogue, new eyes, and high expectations. Innovation, that is our most effective tool for our future success. Thank you. You are making a difference, all of you. One student, one grade, and one school at a time. Let's keep moving forward together and do more great things for our kids and our community this coming year. Thank you. And now I have the pleasure of making recommendations for Vice President.
I'd like to nominate Beverly Berryman for Vice President.
Second.
Thank you. Do I have discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, thank goodness. All those opposed? That's a 5-0 vote. Congratulations, Bev. I know you're going to do a good job. Now I need a nomination for our secretary.
Clerk.
Clerk.
Let's nominate Janny Meyer.
Second.
Do I have further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you. And usually at this time, we appoint the superintendent as secretary.
I move that we appoint the superintendent as secretary.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Let's have Bev as our second. Do we have a discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And then we need to approve our meeting dates. They're listed. Does anybody have any conflict with the meeting dates?
I have a conflict with two, just for the record. That would be April 3rd and November 13th. I'm going to be out of the country.
And November 13th. May I ask the superintendent if any of those days could be adjustable, or board members if there's any problem?
Go back and relook at those days, and both of those days really cannot be changed. The one in November, if you go up, runs into Thanksgiving holiday the week before is the election night. So that can't really be changed. And the other date was April,
April 3rd.
and that comes right into spring break. So we look to try to adjust both ways, and it cannot change.
Does anyone else have any conflict?
In light of there being no alternatives, I move we accept those days.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Moving on, we have a few little jobs for Orange County School Board Association. And the first one is for the Political Action Committee. Bev Berryman was our representative last year, and Lynn was our alternative. Bev, you are like the political action guru of the world.
So can we nominate you again?
Would you like to be nominated,
I'd
Bev?
like to nominate you again.
I'll go anyway, so you might as well just nominate me.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And now we need a representative for the county committee.
As an alternate.
Oh,
Can we
alternate, sorry.
nominate Janny Meyer as an alternate?
Would you like to be a Janny?
I'll second you.
Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah, those are great meetings. Representative for our county committee on school district organization. I was the voting person, and Janny was the alternative. Does anyone have a desire to? Would you like to do that, or do you care?
What is that group? That group is when the
We meet.
county.
We meet once a year and decide who our representatives are for going to Sacramento and representing Orange County.
School board.
School board.
So that's is that a sponsored through CSBA, or is it just?
CSBA. If no one else has a huge interest, I'll do that again.
I'd like to nominate Hilda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Alternate. Anybody want to, who would like to be the alternate?
I can do that.
I'll
Okay.
nominate Janny.
Second? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second. Sorry.
Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Wow, that takes care of that.
Good.
That was very, very
You should nominate.
Next, we're going to have some public comment. Just for the record, public comments can only, are made at this time for things that are not on our agenda. And the person has 3 minutes to speak. And we invite up Jackie Philbeck.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Members of the board and cabinet and residents. It's a pleasure to be here. On behalf of Assemblyman Chris Norby, congratulations, President Sugarman.
Thank you.
And I'm here this evening actually to present this certificate of recognition to Lynn Thornley in honor of your outstanding service and leadership as President of the Fullerton School Board for 2011. Thank you for your dedicated service and congratulations.
deserved.
Can you
And
frame
now-
it? I know.
yeah.
It's a picture.
And now I'd like to call out the principal of Acacia School to do a little sharing with us about Acacia. And everyone else, I'd like to guide your attention up here to the Panda board. And the board is presented each month by the school that presents to the board. Beautiful artwork. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful artwork.
Good evening, Board President Hilda Sugarman. Congratulations. Members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Hovey, and members of Cabinet and the Fullerton School District community. We are very pleased to be here tonight to present Acacia School to you. It's an honor. We're very proud at Acacia School. In fact, we have Panda Pride.
That's a first.
We're startled by that.
We don't know who he is. He just shows up at our school.
Could be a girl.
Oh, yes. Helping me with this presentation tonight are members of our 6th grade student leadership team, and I'm going to turn the mic over to them.
Hello, my name is Ashley Martinez and I'm a 6th grade student at Acacia School. We are so proud to have many accomplishments at our school. I talked with my principal and she gave me some to share with you. Our API is fabulous. In 2007, our API was 875. With our steady growth each year and our recent 19-point increase, our API is 924. Recently, Acacia was named as one of the top elementary schools in Orange County by the Orange County Register and was a silver medal winner for the second year in a row. This year, we've moved up to being ranked 39th out of 379 elementary schools in Orange County.
Wow.
Additionally, we were just nominated again for California Distinguished School. At Acacia School, the students love to learn, the teachers love to teach, and our parents love to support us in our learning and being part of such a great school.
Timing, Ashley.
That was bad form, Mr. Dillon.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Bow. I'm a 6th grade student and I've been at Acacia since kindergarten. I would like to tell you a little bit about our Acacia staff. The students know that every staff member at Acacia really cares about them. We have great office staff, new supervisors, and custodians who all take care of us in our school. Our teachers are the very best. They don't just teach us, they give us a love for learning. They make our lessons interesting by providing extra activities that include technology, project-based learning, and hands-on experiences. They have high expectations for us and help us when we don't understand something. They want us all to be successful. Our Acacia teachers truly care about us and are interested in our lives and our futures. They say that the most important thing in a student's academic achievement is a great teacher. At Acacia, we have great teachers and many of them are here tonight. Will the Acacia teachers please stand?
Hi, my name is Cole Thomas and I'm a 6th grader at Acacia. We have the best parents at our school. I know because my mom and dad are Acacia parents. Our Acacia parents and community provide the students with many enriching and exciting events. We have a great PTA. The president of the PTA is Michelle Garden, and this year our family started a foundation to raise money for the school. The president of the foundation is Michelle Knowles. Would you both please stand? Our PTA provides great events such as the Mother-Son event, Father-Daughter dance, movie nights, holiday boutique, and more. This year our foundation tries hard to raise money for the school, to buy more technology for the students, keep our fabulous PE program, make sure we get to participate in all the arts, and to make sure we go on field trips. We really appreciate our parent and community support. The kids at Acacia know they really care about us. Would our Acacia parents please stand?
And now we would like to take you inside of Acacia with us.
Good evening, my name is Travis and I'm in Acacia 6th grade. Boy oh boy, what a day I've had. I can't wait to tell you how much fun I just had at school. Most kids might dread a day at school because they aren't lucky enough to be an Acacia parent. Let's see, today at school we had celebrations, visitors, technology, and super cool science experiments, as well as a special dance lesson. We also used the gate icons of depth and complexity. First thing this morning, we boogied down to the cha-cha slide as we celebrated our new API score of 924. It was so fun.
Clap your hands.
In class, I used my iPod Touch to take an accelerated reader test on the book The Hunger Games. I used 15 points towards my first trimester reading goal. Then I used it to take a picture for my Hatching Ducks independent research project. Aren't we cute together? Next, the Cal State Fullerton women's soccer team stopped by to teach us drills. It was really exciting to meet a college athlete. I hope one day to play basketball in college. After recess, I worked with my laptop from the laptop cart to type my Think Like a Psychologist essay. I analyzed the character Mufatu from the book Call It Courage. He is one interesting character. Next up, we had a dance lesson teaching us ballet. Mrs. Thomas, a grandmother of Acacia's student, volunteered to teach us all how to pirouette. It was an interesting experience and much harder than I thought it would be. Alright, I gotta run because we have our Acacia movie night tonight. I'm hoping to sell popcorn before the movie, which helps cover the donation for 6th grade outdoor science school. And then I will be attending the Acacia Holiday Boutique in the morning. Wow, what a day.
I am a 1st grader at Acacia School. Today was a great day, but boy, I am tired. We started out with the dairy assembly. Farmer Steve brought out his cow named Jazz. Farmer Steve explained to us how she eats and how the farmer milks her. Jasmine even moved for us a few times. Our assembly, we got to pet Polly the cat. She was so soft and small. After the assembly, we went back to class for all the art. This week we're performing skits with Miss S. I love that we always get a part. The skits Miss S creates with us are funny. During language art, we talked about our new character trait, trustworthy. I learned this means to be honest and have courage to do the right thing. After lunch, we had time for silent reading, and then we were off to PE. I got a chance to run around the field to earn more feet in our running program. After PE, we came back into class and reviewed what we had learned about plants. I learned they have roots, stems, leaves, and some flowers. At the end of science, I had to make observations about how my plant was growing. It is growing really big. Finally, I packed up and headed to Kids Zone. My day at school was full of fun learning activities. I better get some sleep, so I am ready for another full, fun day. I had so much fun at school today. Let me tell you all about my Panda Awesome Day. First, my teacher let us use our iPod Touches to test our fluency. I love to read, and it is great to hear myself read out loud. Next, we go off to PE, where Mr. Davis and Miss Buchan help us stay fit and active. I love the Pride Express program. I have so many feet that I have earned. Back in class, we have a Cal State Fullerton interns who help us with our learning. They're so nice and friendly. At our school, we have after school and during school interventions that help us score an absolute best on our test and help us with things that we are having trouble with. Later, I go to speeches with Mr. Fullerton office. He helped me so much, and Mr. F makes learning fun. Sometimes we read out the book and make funny sounds. All around the case, I see the gate icons. I put them in my notes, use them when I'm talking, and teach them to my family. They help me to have some language of the discipline to get across my big idea. I love Acacia, and I look forward to coming to school tomorrow. I can't wait to see what will happen.
Regetz, and I'm a 5th grade teacher at Acacia. One of the things I love about Acacia is the feeling of support and family from the staff and the parents and the community, so I love it here.
Hi, my name is Mary Hawkins, and I'm a parent here at Acacia, staff here at Acacia. They're very friendly. The teachers are very friendly and approachable. I also like the fact that Dr. Wisden is her principal. And she has really shown dedication, and if a principal comes in here dedicating herself that much, then that means then we all need to dedicate ourselves too.
Hi there, my name is Carrie Thomas, and I'm a kindergarten teacher here at Acacia Elementary School. And I just have to say, I love being a teacher here. The staff is so supportive, the kids are amazing, and we have such a collaboration together. We have PLCs.
Couldn't have been happier with Acacia. It's been an incredible experience for us. The teachers are phenomenal. They're dedicated and they're always putting in the extra effort. But most importantly, the students are the real focus, and you feel that every day at Acacia.
My name is Anthony Gaglio. I have 2 children that go to Acacia Elementary School. I have a 3rd grader and I have a 1st grader, and I love Acacia.
I would like the students who you heard on the podcast to come forward: Michelle Venable, Polly Galakak, and Travis Nichols. And to conclude our presentation, we have an Acacia Panda shirt for each of you. And I remember that when I was at a meeting and Mark said that Laguna Road was the only school that had ever given him a t-shirt. So I brought you a t-shirt, but everyone gets one also, and you can be honorary Acacia Pandas. So I'm going to have Neha Valuri and Vivian Than come present you with our Acacia Panda shirts for you.
We do have 2 panda parents here, Mr. Thompson and Mrs. Berryman.
Pass.
Okay, they're both past parents, but you know, one's in the heart.
That's what I'm switch. Get what change, don't go get back and change.
Well, I think we can all agree that this has been an exceptional presentation. We love learning about your school and hearing from your students. We appreciate especially your parents for realizing how important your participation is. These teachers appreciate you too, I am sure. And what an awesome turnout for your staff on this month when everybody is so overloaded with responsibilities and things to do. So kudos to all of you.
You're going to catch it from somebody now.
And now we are going to hear something that everybody from Acacia probably really is thrilled about. All the artists is going to make a presentation.
I'd like to invite the Foundation Board, the All the Arts for All the Kids Foundation Board, to come up and join me.
Where are you going, Thompson?
You know, Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." And this group of people is truly a grouping that absolutely exemplifies that. They have been good-heartedly, before we give our check, I just want to acknowledge their good-heartedness, their many, many hours of dedicated service to our kids in the community, and their wonderful efforts of raising funds to make sure that every single child gets art, music, dance, and theater in the school. Having said that, I'm going to turn it over to Don Council.
Good evening, President Sugarman and members of the board. We're delighted to be here tonight as volunteers, people in the community that are so honored really to partner with the board in this important work. You know, thinking of the recent passing of the man who invented the iPod and the iPad and the iTouch and the iTV and iThis and iThat, and how he's impacted the entire world. And it all started in a garage. We can never, as Laura Lynn said, underestimate the difference that one person can make. And certainly, as President Sugarman made reference to earlier, the importance of innovation for our children. I think all of us, while we have all come to form all the arts for all the kids from different backgrounds, some are educators themselves, some are parents, others like myself, I don't have skin in the game as a teacher or as a parent, I don't have any children, but I realize that really and truly the challenges that we as a society are creating today for tomorrow's leaders will require an extraordinary level of creativity, and creativity is so, it's not difficult to see that it's so easily fostered and nurtured and oftentimes born within children of all ages through the arts. And that's really the common thread that I think that has brought all of us together is the awareness and the realization of that. And while we are so pleased that our school board and our community, our school district understands that and takes its mandated responsibility to provide an arts education so seriously, we are inspired by the level of effort that you all continue to make to fund the arts, and we're here to say that we'll continue to do our part. So with that in mind, we're here tonight to present to you a check from the fruits of our labor of our pin auction and all of our efforts of this year in the amount of $200,000.
That's your stocking stuffer. Thank you. Awesome. We appreciate all the efforts of this foundation. Believe it or not, you're seeing all the workers of this foundation. There are two other people, and these few people are making this type of a difference for all the children in our school district. It is monumental. And they haven't just been doing it for 6 months. They've been doing it for close to 20 years. And they just don't do a pin auction and battle of bands. They do so much more to create wonderful things for our students. And we appreciate each and every one of you for all of your efforts on behalf of those that you touch every day through this program. Thank you.
I wanted to say something because it hasn't been just 6 months that this group has been together doing these things. And I get a little teary-eyed because I'm sorry. I just look back at what impact your group has made on all of our students in our district. And I look at my children, I look at everyone else's children, but I always remember the one year where my son was a little insecure with what he was doing way back in the day and entered his drawing into a contest and won through all the arts for all the kids. And it was nothing, it was, just a $25 gift certificate or a savings bond. But I can tell you what that impact made for him with those art lessons and with that recognition has made him who he is today, and he is creative, he's innovative, and he truly does think outside the box. So I appreciate everything you guys do. If you did it for mine, I am sure you do it across the board for all of our students here in the district. So thank you from my heart. And you're welcome.
And now it's my honor to call up the members of the Fullerton Technology Foundation and their leader right now, Mr. Strasser.
Happy holidays to all of you. It looks like it is a season of giving, and so we thought we would give as well. We're the babies in the group, and I leaned over to Luz and I go, $200,000. We've got to figure out how they do that. Now, 20 years, they've got it figured out. We've been doing it about 5 years. It's been another challenging year, hasn't it? And it's been a productive year. When we look at, when I saw the video, I mean, that's pretty amazing. When the world is crashing around us with budget cuts and everything else, and we still are able to pull these things off. You've got to just say to yourself, we're a pretty resilient group. And the resilience of the group is not necessarily us. It's the community. It's the parents, it's the businesses that open their hearts and open their wallets. And they channel that money through foundations, whether it be all the arts, whether it be technology and all of that. So we are here to present you with some funding to get you through next year, and hopefully it'll be more as well. The check we're going to present to you tonight is going to go for 3 programs that are, 2 of the 3 programs are ongoing programs that we have supported for several years. The first is a laptop program. As you know, we've got a pretty aggressive program to try to get technology into the hands of each and every student in the Fullerton School District. Ted Live said we've got about 7,000 laptops in our district now, and we're pleased that we have been able to help support that. So this year, our contribution to that part of the program will be $26,465. The second program that we're very involved in is the 50-50 program, and that's where a parent says, gosh, I'd love to have my son or daughter have a laptop, but quite honestly, the budget's a little tight right now. We act as a partner with the parent and basically subsidize the purchase of that laptop so that they're able to, at the end of the 3-year lease, walk away and they have a laptop in their hands. And that's been a program that's been going on for a number of years, and we're pleased that our support this year will be $39,933 and 68 cents for each of the we go to the district and Ted and say, well, what else are you guys working on this year? And last year, I believe it was the Gizmos program. And one of the dreams was Discovery Education Program. And this is a web-based educational video program that we can stream out to all the schools. We're going to basically split the cost of that with the district and throw another $8,000 into the mix there. So that brings our total, we have a big check too, $74,398. And the ever popular 68 cents. We just
do this every month.
I'd like to do it every month, but that checkbook starts to get a little empty. We've just closed our books for our fiscal year, and this is probably, we've been around since 2005, and it's kind of neat to look back and add up We have crossed the $500,000 mark in terms of generating dollars back to the school district. So we're pretty proud of that, and hopefully continue to march forward. We've got a couple of new things that I wanted to just share with the group. The board met last night, and we opened up our grants, our teacher grant program. And we were pleased to see that we had 28 grant entries, totaling about $80,000. And so there are a lot of people out there in the district that are still needy. We are letting you know that we have approved a number of those grants, and we will be advising some unsuspecting teachers. I hear there's a road trip later on this week, and we will be announcing $20,000 worth of grants to the teachers that will be going into place.
Like Publishers Clearinghouse, right?
Publishers Clearinghouse, yes. The checks won't be that big, they'll be in little envelopes. But that impacts about 1,100 students, and that impacts 9 different school sites. So we're really glad that we're able to kind of spread it around. Something new we're doing this year is, as we kind of sit down and look at what we want to try to accomplish every year, there's so much to do and not enough resources and not enough dollars. So we started looking at, well, what do we want to really focus on this year? We identified the junior highs this year as an area that we really want to give a little more focus to, because that's that kind of middle ground. I remember when I was in junior high, boy, is that a rough time for kids, right? And we come off of technology in the lower grades, and then you're getting into junior high, and now you're jumping into high school. There's that kind of that void right there that we saw. So we are opening up grants to the 3 junior highs. More information is coming out on that this week. And we are looking to pledge at least another $30,000 that we hope to generate out to those schools before the end of the school year. Again, we thank the community for this, and the businesses in the local area. They've been tremendously supportive. We're just a conduit. We just channel the money and try to get it where it needs to go. So with that, thank you, and happy holidays. I am always surrounded by people that tell me what I need to do and what I should do. What do they say? Behind every man there are
20 minutes.
First of all, a commercial announcement for something that's coming up in June. Luz?
Remember to save the date. June 2nd will be our annual wine auction committee, our wine event. Silent auction items, live auction items, fun with friends, good food, lots of wine, and it's all for a good cause. So remember that every little drink you take there is just going to make you spend money, and it's all good. So if you do not receive a save the date card, please let me know, and I'll make sure that you get on the invitation list.
Hilda, do you want to do the intro? Okay.
First, at the end, we have Ted Lai, who is our representative, knowing everything that we need the answers to in technology. This week, he actually helped us to do a conference board meeting so that people who couldn't get up here could be part of our board meeting. We couldn't function well without Ted Lai. Thank you, Ted. Gigi Kelly has been our secretary for a number of years. She is so committed to helping everybody advance in technology. She wears so many hats. She's so wonderful. Thank you, Gigi. Pamela now teaches over at Hermosa Drive, and she is a technology teacher, a teacher using technology in the classroom, and so committed to supporting all schools. And we thank her so much. She gives so generously of her time. As does Megan, as does Linda, 2 other teachers in our district, Acacia and Ladera Vista Junior High. Linda was in charge this year of our SEEDS grants, and she has worked really hard to make them fair and wonderful, giving a lot of, she made sure that we gave more money than we planned to because the grants were so great. And Megan is now going to be starting our Facebook page, and we're excited about that. Jason Sparks is our representative from Opus Bank, It is our new community friend in Fullerton, and we are so excited to have you be part of our foundation. John Strasser is everything. He takes care of the money, even to the 68 cents, and he is wonderful, and we appreciate every bit of the commitment he gives to our board. And then we have Jackie Williams, who is unstoppable in getting donations for that auction that we have in the spring, and she is just amazing. She never stops. She just keeps right on like the Energizer Bunny. And we have Luz Houchen, who's head of our auction this year. And what's the title of the auction this year?
Lights, Camera, Auction.
So, ladies, get your gowns ready. And then we have Janny Meyer, who's been part of this since she was a wee little girl and taught gate education at Hermosa Drive School, and now is a board member. And she too works tirelessly for every organization, and we appreciate her efforts for technology for all of our students. She's seen firsthand the importance. Before you sit down, and my heartfelt thanks for all you do for the children in our school district. Would the people on the arts board stand up again, please? We want to introduce you to two of you. Well, that's okay. We have one introduced, and we have Lloyd Davies, who is so amazing. She does so many things for all the arts. Never says, oh my God, I have to prepare for school, I have a family, I have a life. She just goes on going and just helps us with everything. Ladies, you guys are wonderful. And just so you want to know, we got a special in-service on how to become organized as a board and how to raise money last year. People gave up 5 weekends to come. And the tutelage of Dawn was amazing. So Laura Lynn, with her generous heart and her great spirit, who works as president of this board for 50 years, without pay, has really brought together all sorts of wonderful people. And for both of these foundations, can we have a hearty round of applause? $280,000, well, more than that, about almost $300,000 with the added teacher and principal grants being offered this year for our schools. A nice way to celebrate the holiday season. Thank you all. And now the crowd thins.
Feel free to leave.
Would the superintendent like to give his
Well, the crowd is clean because the ever popular superintendent's report. At any rate, I'd like to make mention that over the last month we have selected 2 new principals. I see Hilda Flores in the back, and Julie Graham. I'd like to congratulate you once again, and then in January I'd like to invite you to bring your families to our January meeting, and we can introduce you to the board. So anyway, congratulations. And I think, Hilda, you started officially, you're there this week, and I hear things are going well, so I'm glad to have you aboard. Back about a week or 2 ago, we had a very successful spelling bee. I understand that, Chris, you were the judge.
Great time.
And I heard it went really, really well.
It was very, very
You have it all
fun.
under control.
I would like to do it next year, I hope.
All right.
Yeah. Now that I have no reporter.
Also had an opportunity to attend the Nutritional Services Holiday Celebration. Amanda's doing a wonderful job as our director out there. And this is really neat to see the spirit. They had a little luncheon. We were able to participate. So I want to thank Amanda and Nutrition Services for including us. this year as part of their celebration. It's been a while since we've been able to get back out there, but thank you. Things are going well. I have the pleasure today of welcoming Tim Doak, a superintendent from Maine, who came to visit the Fullerton School District. He came all the way from Maine to visit some of the programs that we have here. We took him in, along with Ted Lai and I. We went to Valencia Park and also the Fisher School to see firsthand amazing 21st century learning in action. Two wonderful visits. A lot of activity with the iPods. It's amazing what our little ones are doing with iPods, iPads. All the things they're doing has just been wonderful. So it was great to see that even as far back east as Maine, they're coming out to visit Fullerton. On another note, we have the Golden Bell Recognition Lunch that I was able to attend with some of our board members at CSBA conference for Richmond School, and I'd like to congratulate again Richmond School for the Golden Bell recognition. We'll be doing something more officially also in January to recognize Richmond for the Golden Bell Award. And I'd like to also say that as part of that conference, I was able to pick up some very, very valuable information. I found several districts that are also working on the teacher principal evaluation process, able to pick their brains and get additional information from them. Went to a couple of budget state updates. Those are always downers, so I have to go back to something else more positive. And I attended one of the workshops called ZAP the Gap, High Achievement for All Subgroups. And it was really neat to see some of the things they're doing. But more importantly than that, it really affirmed the things that we're doing are the same things that other districts are doing. So, and it's working for them as it is working for us. One of the things I came away with is the single most important thing that a school teacher can do is reach agreement with the staff about quality. And when I think back, one of the first discussions we had with principals and teachers was what really is an effective teacher, what really is an effective principal. It was interesting to see that that was one of the most important things that other districts are dealing with that have been successful. And lastly, I wanted to say, or actually a couple more things I wanted to say. The Alpha League is having, is donating toiletry items for the McKinney-Vento homeless students in our district. And yesterday, the Alpha members filled 93 toiletry bags for students. There is a need, however, to fill 72 more bags to accommodate 165 homeless students in our district, which is double over what we had last year. So Alpha and Educational Services advise anyone interested in donating to drop off toiletries to our front desk here at the district office by this Thursday morning. And toiletry items needed are regular or large size items such as shampoo, conditioner, soap, body wash, lotion, toothpaste, toothbrushes, and deodorant. So if you could help with that, their goal is to be able to fill 72 more bags in order to provide something for all of our 165 homeless students. And with that note, district office holiday luncheon will be held tomorrow. All of you as board members hope you're hopefully able to join us, and you're all invited to come and be a part of the festivities from 11:30, starting at 11:30. Our second grade students have started a tradition, and they come over and they sing Christmas carols for us from Pack Drive. So we'll be looking forward to that.
What time will they be here, do we know?
About
12.
12 o'clock. Okay, so we'll start the lunch about 11:30. And that's always just an excellent opportunity for all of us at the district office, from maintenance and transportation to all of our employees here, to once again to recognize how fortunate we are to have what we do, and to do what we do in a district office, and be able to work together as a school family, and be able to celebrate that with students, which is what we're all about. So with that, I wish everyone a great holiday season, and look forward to seeing you in 2012.
Thank you. Lynn? With 2012 kind of on our mind, I wanted to share something that I recently found in our basement. We did a little cleanup. And I'm sorry Matthew Barnett is not here, because every time you talk to him, he shows you all of the goals that his kids are writing about. Well, my little student in 6th grade put together a All About Me folder. Well, the intriguing thing about this, and this is why goals are important, is I actually found it recently and went, oh my gosh, can you believe this? And was reading through it, but I actually came to a page, mind you, he's in 6th grade, and he writes down what his plans are for the future. And he says in here, this is why, with a new year facing us, 10-year plan, education. I'm going to go to Nicholas Junior High School next year for 7th and 8th grade. For high school, I'm going to go to Fullerton High School. After that, I hope to get accepted to Annapolis Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. Once I graduate from the Naval Academy, I hope to get accepted to Naval Flight School. He soloed in a helicopter last week, which to me was just one of the... So, as a kudo to all the teachers out there, you're helping to create some fantastic future leaders. That's how we like to talk about our academy grads and any of our students. But I also think we forget sometimes that when you write it down and you put purpose behind it, and I'm going to give Matthew Barnett huge kudos for making those kids at Nicholas do that. It puts your mind on something, and I mean, who really knew when my little 6th grader put this together whether all of that would ever happen, but to open that up and go, oh my gosh, look, he set a goal, he made a plan, he accomplished it. And I think, you know, I give kudos and credit to the teachers here that helped to put them on that path. So, but just kind of one of those little moments that I had to share. Because now it's time to write your New Year's resolutions. And as we've come back from convention, I think all of us have a few New Year's resolutions and goals we'd love to see our district pursue. I know we all could talk about all of the sessions we went to, and some that we were most jazzed about had to do with like dual immersion, language programs. Tri-immersion. Let's just start dual. You know, that kind of gets our creative juices flowing, and we'd love to see how some of those other great things happening in other districts could come back into ours. You know, lots of little notes get taken, and we could go on and on about all that we learned, but you know, it just starts with somebody saying, you know, I have a goal, I have a plan, I want to see it happen. And as one district said, the reason that they do it is children can't wait, and they do it because they have a can-do attitude, which I think is very important in Fullerton. So, as you get ready for 2012, can-do is a good attitude to have. And I hope you and your families all have a very happy holiday, and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Great. The conference was wonderful, and we could go on and on about the sessions that were really valuable. It was one of the few conferences I've ever been to that I didn't walk out of one of them to go to another room. They were that great, and that says something for the conference. And I know it takes time from our families to do this and spend 3 days away, but it was well worth it. And thank you for the opportunity to find that. The highlight definitely was the Golden Bell Award luncheon. Music is alive. Are you here? Music is alive in Fullerton. The arts are alive because I listened to recorders today. I listened to little kids sing. I listened to students at Rolling Hills acting. We almost, I don't know if this qualifies as triple immersion, but they were singing Christmas songs, and they were singing it in Spanish, they were singing it in Hawaiian. One of the last ones they did was in Hawaiian. So great things are happening out there, and it's really fun to go. That's really a fun thing to experience. Congratulations to our student who is going to represent us at the AXA Regional Awards Breakfast. We had an incredible event that Fullerton did for the first time this year, and kudos to Sherry White and her entire staff who put it together. It was called Every Student Succeeding Reception, and is it Annika? Is that her? Annika. Okay, Annika Lord, she was the one that's chosen to represent, and if you did not walk away without tears, you're not a person. It was an amazing event, and I hope we continue with that, and I hope that goes on every year. It was really heartwarming. I had the pleasure of reading about 50 grants in the last 3 weeks. That's my job on the two foundations, and it's amazing what teachers are thinking up, doing, and creating, and it's going to be exciting to see those come to fruition. And I would just continue to, I wanted to add that we did a Korean Business Council. There were 8 of us who sat on a panel and worked with the Korean community to bring together Fullerton School District and the Korean community. It was really a valuable evening of learning and sharing what happens in Fullerton with the Korean community. And have a wonderful holiday. Everybody deserves it. I assume all the report cards have gone home. No phone calls? All right, congratulations and have a great holiday.
I just have a few things. I stayed here and held down the fort while the rest of the board went to the CSBA meeting. I'm not a big CSBA guy. And I enjoyed the couple of things that I did very much. I went, and I'm going to need help with the name of the class, but I went to a party of parents that are English second language parents at the ELAC group, the class they teach them English. And the food was unbelievable. Literally the best pozole I've ever had in my life, and I'm a pozole nut. And I struggle with the expenditure from a global political philosophy perspective, but I will say that it was almost all ladies. I think there was one gentleman. These ladies were highly motivated, clearly had learned a ton. The values that they were propagating, I never really thought about how difficult it must be to come to this country and live in this country without having the English language and not necessarily understanding what all the opportunities mean and what all the freedoms mean. And I guess there is just a significant phenomenon of needing a great deal of courage to break out of your shell or your own little protected world that you build for yourself in those circumstances. And that really seemed to be the theme on top of learning English. And all of these ladies and the gentlemen, not all, many of them, read stories about their educations, mostly back in Mexico, and they sang to us, which was a very humbling experience, and thanked me and us for providing this, and I made sure that they understood that we're not providing it, that they're providing it, that they pay taxes, and that it belongs, all of these kinds of services belong to all of us. So it was a pretty moving event, and I enjoyed it very much, and I loved the spelling bee. My daughter Phoebe got to be in the spelling bee at LB a couple years ago, and all I got to do was say that is correct or that is incorrect, and I blew it once. Actually, I think I blew it twice. But it was a blast, and I want to thank Eric Bagger for inviting me, and everybody there did a great job, and I hope we get to do it next year. I'd love to do the calling, but the guy that did the calling is probably better than I would be at it, so I probably won't get to do the calling. I also wanted to say to Hilda, I did not intend for my no vote to be so dramatic. As I was thinking today about, which I didn't spend much time at all thinking about electing the president and vice president. And I'll tell you why, because everybody at this table is fully capable of chairing these meetings, and I had zero concern about anybody's ability to do a good job doing it. Really, the only issue that occurred to me as being important was the one that I raised, and your answer was not unreasonable. It's important to me that I believe that if I were chair, I would put on the agenda any requested item other than the most ridiculous. I asked the question, and your answer is what caused me to vote that way. But I want to make it crystal clear. Hilda has been several times a fantastic representative of the board as a president, and she's obviously very passionate about this school district and highly competent as a chair. And so you do have my support as a chairman, and and respect as a president. So, so yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Well, I think I was more of a compassionate, you have that wrong at the spelling bee than you were.
Oh, I really struggled with that.
Yeah. I remember being the spelling bee and being the wrong answer, and I really had a hard time with that part. I don't think you probably had as hard of a time.
I do enjoy telling people that. Not so much little kids, but it's not terribly hard.
So you might have to fight me for that one.
Why don't you do the corrects and I'll do the wrongs?
Okay. No, we'll do it the other way. Okay. I've got a couple of things. I won't take up too much time. I do want to thank Rolling Hills for inviting us all to the play. I don't know if we all were able to make it or not. I know Janny was there when I was there. But I got to tell you, this year's play was the production of Hans Christian Andersen. And I couldn't think of something better to present at this time of the year. Just watching those children, not only was it a phenomenal play and great costuming from the parents and everyone that's involved, and Vicki Schendel production, but the thought behind that and the life skills that those kids learned through that play were phenomenal. And I don't think I ever thought about it in that way. As they were going through it, it talked about choices, it talked about life lessons for our kids. It taught about the beauty from within. It taught about peer pressure, how to have confidence. I just think that all of those literature, all that literature coming into one, not only taught them literature, but also taught them character traits. And I just thought that was a really wonderful production, and it was more than just a play. So thank you very much. I think you guys did an awesome job. Fullerton Educational Foundation was also very generous this year. Janny was able to present some awards, seems like forever ago, but it was probably just a couple of weeks ago, right? Where the Fullerton Educational Foundation also awarded grants for teachers in our district that are doing good things with kids and innovative. $20,000 more going back into our classrooms for our children. So again, I want to thank them as well in this time of giving. So thank you for doing that. And I think that's it for today.
Thank you. And now we're going to move on for the representatives like to present.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Wafa Sada, and I'm sure all of you know me. I'm from Acacia School. I have two children, one in 4th grade and one in 3rd grade. Our last DLAC was held at Fair Drive Elementary School on November 18. We had our elections, and we now proudly have 6 DLAC chairpersons. We are proud that our DLAC has grown over the last several years, and that so many parents are participating in DLAC. And I would like to introduce our fabulous parents. Veronica, please.
Hi, my name is Veronica Moran. I have 2 kids, and one kid in Richmond, and the other in Orange Store. They are very busy every time. I stay there for learn. I need to learn from my boys. I think no, it's very important for parents know the education because we have I have a goal for my kids go to college.
Thank you so much, Veronica. You did a good job. It's your first time to present. Thank you so much, Veronica. You did a good job. Proud of you. In addition to our annual election, at our last meeting, we also discussed program improvement for Title I school and Title III. We learned about a lot of program, and we participate in brief survey to advise the district as we undertake writing the improvement plan addendum. And it was like, as you talked about the technology, it was really good experience for us the first time we use, and Julie showed us how to use, what we call it?
The active expression.
Yeah, but the borders. Yeah, the borders. Yeah. The borders. Yes, it was good for us. We are excited to have Dr. Hovey come to our next meeting on January 20. And our next meeting will be at Richmond School. And of course, we would like to invite you all to attend the meeting. Our topics will be about open enrollment, about school awards, Golden Bell, distinguished schools, and Title I achieving school, and as well as we will have gates, icons of depth, and how they help in English learners. So we'd like to see all of you come and support Dr. Hovey and support us, of course, because as a parents, we would love to see our district to come to our meeting, so you're more than welcome. And in behalf of our parents in the district, in Fullerton district, we would like to wish you a Merry Christmas and Blessed New Year. Thank you so much.
I love my job. I have to say.
Carmen, could you make a note to inform the entire board of the date and time and place of that meeting in January? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful holiday season. Next, PTA. Do we have a representative here this evening?
Welcome. I know, long time no see, everybody. I feel like nervous now again, all over.
Not one of us.
No. Well, it's been quite a quiet year for PTA so far. I do have some great news. 4th District, we have over 113,000 members strong, and we were up from last year for this year. So very, very excited to hear that. Every year we're given a challenge. This year's theme was Ready, Set, and Remit. All of Fullerton Elementary Schools and Fullerton Joint Union High Schools made this goal. We are up this year. I'm proud of all the schools and their commitment and the pride they have for their individual schools, so thank you very much. We are also having a competition with 33rd District on membership. They are at 74%, and 4th District is at 79%. Whoever wins has to serve hospitality at one of our meetings. Yummy, something new and fun. This is the year of new. We had our principal and president's breakfast. Usually we have this huge luncheon, but we've been kind of doing new things and changing things around, and we thought, with the budget cuts, why can't we do something different? So we have the principals and the presidents go to Fullerton Joint Union High School, have a breakfast, I felt, very warm, very intimate, get to know each other better, say hello to other principals and presidents at our breakfast. And it was really nice. So I do thank our hospitality gals, and I do believe we all learned something new about each other in that little game that Ann Sinek did for us. So I thought that was kind of fun and new to change things up. So I hope all the presidents, principals, and superintendents enjoyed themselves. And I'm going to tag team off with Chris on Pacific Drive's ELAC. It was a meet and greet. And it was a meet and greet. I thought it was a graduate. I just thought it was wonderful. And I was invited to the ELAC event at Pacific Drive from Miss Martha. It was a meet and greet parents that take the English class. I believe it's 4 days a week. Is she here or did she leave? Oh, I think she left. And boy, did I get a wonderful treat that day. I heard some of their stories when they were kids, and basically how they grew up in their education and their wonderful stories. Like all of us, we want better for our kids. So they take English classes, but what I was not expecting was that they were going to sing us a song. It was My Declaration by Lizette Bennett. They stood in front of Chris and I, and sang it to us. It was awesome. I had a tear of joy in my heart and eye. What I loved about it is that they had learned the song and to see how they felt about it. It was a very heartfelt and humbling morning. And then we had a feast of tamales, beans, and rice, pozole and mole. It all was homemade. It was wonderful. So thank you very much for, like the song says, for not hiding anymore and being strong. And I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a safe, wonderful New Year, and enjoy your families.
We love this time of year. We love it. Happy TA.
So even our English language learning parents are learning through the arts.
CSEA.
No, Carlos,
I
I just can't see her.
No. Carla, you're invited up. Come and join us. Yeah, she's all ready for the holidays.
I'm going to be quiet for a little on.
Yeah.
Well, good evening to all of you. First of all, many congratulations are in order. FETA would like to recognize our colleagues at Laguna Road, Acacia, and Raymond schools for helping their students achieve a silver recognition by the Orange County newspaper called The Register. We are also happy to recognize Sunset Lane and Valencia Park schools for their bronze achievement. We realize that the Register has very special ways of figuring out how they award these achievements, and it's a great thing to have some of our wonderful schools recognized. Since Fullerton has 20 schools, with these 5 schools, 25% of us all are maintaining a definite degree of excellence, and we know, of course, that all of us are. FETA would also like to let the school board know that in this season of holiday giving, cheer, and best wishes, we have donated $100 each to FIES, which is Fullerton Interfaith Emergency Services, the Crittenden Home for Children, and the Women's Transitional Living Center. Each of these organizations help some of our students, and through their charitable work, the Fullerton community definitely benefits. Our condolences are extended to Assistant Superintendent Janet Morey on the loss of her father just before Thanksgiving. We'd like you to know we are making a donation to the Fullerton Education Foundation in his memory, and it is our hope that these holidays will be peaceful and strengthening as your family gathers together and celebrates them.
Thank you.
On a more academic note, I would like to highlight an interview with Diane Ravitch, who is one of the most insightful educational leaders in the country today. This interview was to express an opinion regarding the state of California's decision to not seek the waivers for the No Child Left Behind. When several weeks ago it was announced that waivers for Nickelby, which is NCLB, No Child Left Behind, could be applied for, many states immediately rushed to get those applications completed and filed. California, which has the largest number of public school students than any other state, bravely determined that they would forego those waivers. The message that California sends by doing this is that there were many problems with Nickelby. The extensive emphasis on a single test score, failure to reach impossible goals, and compliance with numerous other federal mandates points to just a few of the issues. The waiver plan is just as heavy-handed and failure-oriented as the original Nickelby. Schools need help, not punishment. One lesson that should have been learned from Nickelby is that the federal government does not know how to improve schools. California is in one of the worst financial crises of modern times. The state needs to change how schools, K through junior college and university, are funded. The leadership for school reform needs to come from Sacramento and local communities. Washington can send funding for those students with the greatest needs, disabilities, poor, and English language learners. That's appropriate. California's message should be that no easy answers exist. The job of school improvement belongs to all of us, parents, students, teachers, administrators, and the local community. We all need to work together for the next generation to make sure that they are healthy and prepared to lead good lives as contributing members of society. Our schools must be sure every child has a well-balanced curriculum, and that includes arts and physical education. Our future as a state depends on the education that we provide today. And with that, very definite holiday greetings, and we look forward to a wonderful 2012.
Thank you. Now I'd like to invite the representative from CSEA up.
Good evening. Standing before you is the third place second grade spelling bee champion from Downey, California. And also a proud staff member of Nicholas, winner of this year's spelling bee. Good evening, Dr. Hovey, President Sugarman, members of the board and cabinet, Marlene Acosta for CSEA. Last week was our annual CSEA toy drive to benefit FIS, Fullerton Interfaith Emergency Services. We collected 45 toys and gifts, which I had the privilege of delivering. Our members also donated an additional $200 in Target gift cards for the older children who aren't satisfied these days with Barbies or Legos. Special thanks to Bev Berryman, who walked in to the wrong meeting but happily donated to our FIS drive, and we purchased an additional $20 gift card with her donation. So be careful when you walk into our meetings. Thank you. Thank you to Dr. Hovey for the Fierce Conversation books. Our e-board plans to read them hopefully over winter break and share them with our members. Last but not least, on behalf of the CSEA Executive Board, Alva Cuesta, and the rest of us, of our members, happy holidays to everyone, and we look forward to working with you in the coming year. Thank you.
Thank you. Take our wishes back to your board, please. Now we have Besma. Oh, let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you very much. Good evening to all of you. And I would really like to extend another special thank you to all the people who helped put that together. That was our village that did that. And many of the people are in the room, and some of the people are not here. People stayed even late to help clean up. But it just reminds us at this time to take account of all of our blessings that we have and just have a wonderful holiday season. We're looking forward to also recognizing more students, and I too hope that we continue the tradition. Have a great holiday.
Thank you. The district calendar has been posted. Please check it frequently because there's no way to read it all in one sitting, especially this time of year. I have 2 items on the agenda, the meeting of November 3rd, which was a special meeting, and then a meeting of November 15th, which was our regularly scheduled board meeting. Do we have any corrections or additions to either of those sets of minutes? Seeing none, could I have a motion to accept both sets of minutes?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you. All those in favor of accepting the 2 sets of minutes as posted?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, and thank you for a good job. Moving on to our consent calendar, and while we go there, before I ask people if they have things they'd like us to pull, could you please put up item 1B, which is our gifts, our donations, because, again, we appreciate so much our generous community. On our consent calendar, we have 1 correction, which has been posted. It has to do with Julie Graham. And the board has it noted on the table. I'd like to know if anyone wants to pull any items on this calendar, on this consent calendar. Seeing none, can I have a motion to accept the consent calendar as corrected?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's a 5-0.
If you say anything, then I was gonna comment, but I didn't
Go
want to
ahead,
follow.
go ahead and comment.
I noticed that on the classified personnel report, we have a retirement. I wanted to say thank you to Mike Rito, but I don't think he's here tonight. He's retiring the end of the year. He's been around for quite a while, and a lot of our boundary committee meetings and everything had to do with transportation, so I just wanted to say thank you for all of his years of service.
Thank you. I'm glad you pointed that out to us. Well, can we send him a note from the board? Thanks. Thank you. Moving ahead, before we go to the next piece of our agenda is an organization meeting for our capital fund. I'm just trying to find it here on I got it. Okay. This is just a matter of house cleaning. Every year we have to do a consent, we have to organize for the Capital Facilities Corporation, assigning a president and a clerk, and Dr. Hovey as the vice president of the corporation, and Susan Hume as the CFO of the organization. And do I have a motion to accept that slate?
But before you do
go
that,
ahead.
Madam President, I'm just gonna
Oh,
help you a
oh.
little, get an order.
I close our
the
meeting.
Right.
And now I open this very important meeting that will take at least 3 minutes, or at most 3 minutes. Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to accept that slate?
I'll move the slate.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Double thank you. Do we have any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you. It's a 5-0, and we'll adjourn that part of the meeting. We will reopen the other meeting. Oh, that was fun. Okay, we are now at 2A.
The fastest meeting we've ever had.
And, well, now we come to one of our most exciting parts of tonight's meeting, which is the interim financial report for the first interim. And Ms. Hume, would you like to take the speaker up there?
Well, good evening, and thank you all of these interested people.
You still have a lot of people here.
Yeah, well, money's important.
We didn't pass out the monster, what is that, rock star stuff?
That's okay. Okay, so here we are tonight to talk about our first interim financial report. Now, I have to tell you, after I did my unaudited actuals and got a little feedback, that there was no cartoons. Gary said. So I do have a couple cartoons tonight. I can make this Kermit, or what am I doing wrong?
Point that way. Right at the PC.
There we go. Okay, so this is a little hard to make.
It is just like Gary.
So as Dogbert says, people who work, we're going to start some accounting humor, okay? So it's understanding accounting people. People who work in accounting departments often work 12-hour days creating reports that nobody cares about. This gives them a very bad attitude. Do not attempt humor around them. So Dogbert goes to the guy, and that is not supposed to be Steve. I just Are you the clerk who maintains all of the budget analysis records? And the clerk says, what if I am? And Dogbert says, then I guess you could be considered analysis retentive. And then he says, boy, he was mighty fast with those scissors. Okay, so that's the humor.
You can skip the humor next time.
One more at the end. That's even better than that, okay?
Even better? Don't leave.
Okay, so first in the report, we do report out to the state, the county, and our public 3 times annually, where we prepare some financial reports that show the actual results of our financials to date, and then the budget, and our estimated actuals for the year, and then also a 3-year projection that goes with that. And these are really key to determining not only how we're doing so far during the year, but also what we're looking at our long-term results, because that's also very important to make sure we're going concern and we're fiscally viable. Now, the report itself is in the agenda. You might have noticed when that agenda was up there that it's 299 pages. And so this part of the report is, I think, about 180 of those 299 pages. It's very long. If you care to print it out, it would be in a book this big, because I do have it printed out. But you really don't need to unless you really want to. So what we have done is we have a memo that describes all of our assumptions for the budget for the year and the 3-year projection. And we have financial statements for each fund, which show the original budget that the board approved back in June, and then the updated first interim budget. And you have the state report, which is very long and detailed. You don't get into all the numbers. There's a lot of backup data there. And then that also includes the 3-year projection. So a lot of information. Now tonight we're really going to concentrate on the general fund. That's what's most important to us. You know, we have a lot of funds in the district, but tonight we're really going to concentrate on the general fund. So at first interim, we do take for all of our funds and look at the budget and update all of those budgets to where we think we're going to actually end up the 2011-12 fiscal year. There's really 2 parts of this. Most years, recently, when Gary has come to you at first interim, and I've gone to my other districts, we would say to you, okay, now here's how the state budget actually turned out and how we adjusted our budget, because the state has been very tardy the last many years, not getting their budget done in time for our June budget. This year they were actually on time, yay. So there's actually not a big change in the state budget from what we had known in June. So we'll still talk about that, and then we'll also talk about just the routine adjustments that we make. Okay, let's talk about state budget first. As you know, K-12, when they put together the state put together the state budget and our funding, they said to us, so we're going to hold you harmless, okay? So I put that in quotes because everyone knows we are receiving 10% less funding on our revenue limit. It's 20% overall in the state for all the school district funding, all sources of funding for schools. But 10% just on the revenue limit alone. So yeah, we're held harmless in that we are receiving the same, at this juncture, the same dollars per student revenue limit as we did in the 10-11 school year. But still, that's quite a bit less money than we were receiving before. So again, no COLA on the revenue limit and all of our programs, because obviously we have other programs going on here too, and obviously no new programs from the state, because everyone knows what a financial mess the state is in. Now, the state budget did include some automatic reductions if revenue forecasts were not met. So the state, when they were putting together their budget, we wish we could do this, but we're not allowed. So they just said, oh, we're $4 billion short, we're just going to put this imaginary $4 billion in. But if that money doesn't materialize, these things are going to happen. If the revenues were $1 billion below the forecast, there would be no trigger cuts. If the revenues were $1 to $2 billion below the forecast, additional cuts to social services and higher education. And if the revenues were $2 billion or more short, the maximum they were projecting for us was a $250 per ADA cut to the revenue limit and a 50% cut to transportation. And what the state said to us, you know, if we cut your revenue limit, that's a huge amount of money to us, so again, thinking of a $5,000 revenue limit that we're receiving now, another $250 cut, they said, oh, you can do that by just cutting your school year some more. You can go down even 7 more days from the 175. Now, you know we're going 180 here, thank goodness. So they said you can just do that. Now, of course, we know that if we're going to cut school days, that's a negotiable item. We need to go back and negotiate that with our union. And it's not something we can just snap our fingers and do overnight. Now these...
want to.
Nor would we want to, absolutely. Okay, that trigger, if those cuts were to be triggered, was the way that was set up, it was to be based upon projections from the legislative analyst that came out in November and the Department of Finance, which was supposed to come out actually on December 15th. And it actually came out, they did a press conference and it came out today. So my slide's a little old. Back in November, the ledge analyst projected the state would be $3.7 billion short. So the Department of Finance came out today, and we're just getting this information. They are coming out a little bit less shortage, and let me put up the numbers. That was the maximum that the district could have lost. So the $250 ADA on the revenue limit was $3.2 million, and that transportation cost. So what we're reading today, and we're still getting like really good numbers, but what they're telling us today is the transportation money, probably going to lose all of that. That's about $500,000, 1 year only, as of now. But on that revenue limit, that $3.3 million would have been if the K-12 had been cut $1.5 billion. Now they're saying it's going to be only $79.6 million, which is like 5% of that. So we don't have the actual numbers, so I can't stress that enough. We will get that to you, but it's probably going to be more in the range of $13, $14 instead of the $250.
How did that be? That's great news. How can it be?
How can it be?
Well,
That's the Department of Finance makes an estimate, and again, this is all estimate, because they're estimating for the whole year. So they're estimating for the whole year what they think the revenues are going to be. So I think, like I said,
But what was their estimate of the shortfall in total tax revenue?
I don't have that.
Versus the 3.7 billion? You don't know?
Oh, that was our number there. Oh, the 3.7, it was less than that. 2.2.
So the DOF said 2.2 and the LAO said 3.7.
Yes.
So under the 2.2, I think the weight, because you went down to a 5%, because most of the weight hits higher education.
Correct. Yeah, it's not all hitting
Tier
us.
1.
Perfect.
Right,
It
right.
just barely gets into tier 2.
Right,
It's
right.
just a little bit.
So that's the answer.
Can that come back to us, backfire during the year?
That should be.
Well,
They already make up.
We'll have to see. Of course, this is all speculative and what's going forward too, because you know next year's budget is extremely
This is what
uncertain.
we're working with today.
Yeah, this is what we're working with now. So that was better news that we don't think, at least for this year, we're going to have that big of a cut. But again, going forward, the state knows that they're short, so. So that's kind of where we are right now on the state budget. Now, we had not put any of these numbers into our projections since they were still uncertain. So we'll be working those in now to the projection up to the future. Now, we do make just what we call just routine adjustments that we're always doing all the time. So in the first interim budget, of course, we have to adjust our beginning fund balances because we've actually closed the books on last year. We adjust categorical revenues and expenses, look at all of our other income accounts, encroachment, salaries and benefits, of course, that's such a large part of our budget, and then all of our other expenditure accounts. So we just really look at all the programs and accounts to see how we're going along and how we need to adjust them. So once we roll all those numbers together, and it is a lot of adjustments to a lot of different accounts and programs, when we came to you, or when Gary came to you in June, your original projected loss for the this is unrestricted general fund only was 1.7. At first interim, that loss has increased to 3.2 million. But basically what that is budgeting of designated funds at June 30th. So it's really just, over the 2 years, it nets out. So it's really, that looks bad, but it's not as bad as it looks. And the revised projected unrestricted ending fund balance is 9.4 million, which is the 8.6%. And you know we have a 3% reserve requirement. So that's good. Now let's go on to the multi-year projections. Of course, the multi-year projections are really the most important part of the first interim report. Again, that's what the county is looking at. That's what we look at ourselves to see, you know, are we going to make it, and are we going to be fiscally viable and continue as a going concern here. These are our major assumptions that we use in our projection. The first two lines are the statutory COLA and the net funded COLA. So for 11-12, we do have a statutory COLA of 2.24%. The COLA is calculated in a formula that's set in law. But then the state, if they can't afford it or don't want to pay it, they deficit us back, which is what they did this year. They increased the deficit, so we go a net funded COLA 0, no increase. For 12-13 and 13-14, we have used those projected statutory COLAs. The county says you can go ahead and put those in, but just be aware, how much money that is, and that it's very, I don't want to say highly unlikely, but all of those things are very uncertain out to the future. The governor, I'm sure you've been reading in the paper, the governor is going to propose, we're hearing in January, a budget for the 12-13 year where he's going to project that his ballot initiative is going to pass and some revenues are going to come in and we're going to get this money, and it's very highly speculative. So we've gone ahead and put those COLAs in, but just so we know that we're all aware, that's what we're talking about.
Excuse me, go ahead, Chris.
I'm sure every district does. First question, do we have to put it in? Do we have to put the net funded COLA in, or could we choose to budget based upon an assumption that we won't get that?
Well, right now, this is just our projection. It's not really our working budget since it's in the out years, but yeah, we run it internally. We take them out and look at what happens if you take them out too. So we look at all the different scenarios.
And I understand that, but this is your first interim.
Mm-hmm.
And you're using the number in your first interim. And I'm not saying that I disagree. I'm just curious, do you have to use these assumptions, or could you decide as the finance super that, well, I think that those are specious arguments and I don't think the money's coming, so I'm gonna do my first interim assuming I don't get those. Could you legally do that?
Oh, sure, because this is just our projection. So we could say, and some districts do, Chris. So
They do.
You could be like super conservative and
Yes.
say, I'm just gonna put a flat COLA in there. But the other thing that we have in our projection is, we get down to the point where we say we're this much short.
Yes.
And so to make the 3%, that's the next slide, we need to make this much in cuts. So if I had made those like flat 0, it would just make that cut number that much bigger.
Well, of course,
But we
but
could do
I'm not sure I understand the wisdom in not being conservative. I see a lot of wisdom in, since the reality, the actual will be whatever it is, regardless. So it seems to me to be more wise to use the conservative numbers here, have that bigger potential necessary cut, so that we're not caught flat-footed. And maybe you could change my mind, but that just seems to be common sense.
I don't know if I can change your mind, but.
Because you've already said that you are highly skeptical of this.
Yeah, I think what I do is I put them in there, that's what the county recommends, but then we also know what the effect is if we don't have that. And if we were in a scenario where and this is obviously not happening, but if we were in a scenario where we were saying, where we put those in, and then we had all this money out in the future, and then we would say, Mark would say, let's go negotiate a raise. Of course, all of us here would be saying, no, don't do it, because we're not sure
Well,
what this
and the perception of the community and our associations be one of the reasons to be conservative. Why does the county recommend that we do? You're saying the county recommends that we do it this way?
But another reason why is because when you look at the Prop 98
Yes.
overall calculation from the state, that honestly we should be getting COLAs because they owe us money now. And so that's the other side.
This places pressure on the state to not say, well, they're already expecting to not get this.
But I would say too, our employee organizations are very aware of this because when we met with them last week, they even asked me that, do you have the COLAs in? And they understand that those are,
Well, actually,
those are all really good points. I mean,
you just answered the question. You want to put pressure on the state upward to say we expect to get
We do
this.
expect it.
Yeah.
And does that have an effect on the certification qualified, this changing?
So we are qualified, so yeah, having that in there. Like I said, if we didn't have it in there, the cuts would just be a larger number, the flood cuts would just be.
My understanding is that the county we have that dartboard that we go by, so the county's expecting that we're gonna put that in there. But when we look at the numbers also, we have a second option, which says, gee, we don't really think that's gonna come in, so you've got a second set that you work on, but the county expects us to put in pretty much what is on that dartboard, is that correct?
Right. But you're right, Dr. Hubbard, that we look internally, Stephen and I spreadsheets, we.
Footnote that, Susan, can you put an asterisk with a footnote?
Oh, you mean on the slides, we could always do that. It is in the memo. It does say a couple places in the memo and in our assumptions that, you know, we're using these. We understand that right now this is just an estimate, because it's all just a projection right now, so.
On your column 2, 3.1% statutory COLA.
Yes.
On your 2.8%, is that 2.8 including the 3.1 the year before?
So, yeah, it builds on itself.
It builds on
That's
itself.
correct.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. So you do see the dollar change for ADA there. And then, of course, the other big factor in our funding is our ADA. We are using right now, just you know, based upon our demographics study and how the enrollment is going so far this year, we just use flat, which, you know, to us is very reasonable and conservative. We put this chart in here just to show you the historical revenue limits and the budget for 11-12. This is the funding per student, so you can see from that 10-11 is about just a little over $5,000. The flat funding for 11-12, $5,000, so we don't have the mid-year cuts in there yet. Then we show up here in the orange box on the top, if the state had continued funding the COLA, as they used to promise us they would every year, we would be receiving $1,232 more per student, which we like to say is, you know, $37,000 per 30-student classroom. So that's quite a lot of money that the state is now behind in owing us. And then this is just the historical P2 ADA. Everyone knows we're paid on our P2 ADA, so we just show that out there. You know, this district is very stable enrollment-wise, which is another really good financial strength of the district. Okay, just going over some of the other factors in the multi-year projection. The district, or the state, when they first started cutting us a couple years ago, they gave us flexibility, so we do have Tier 3 categorical money, which we are sweeping, so that is money for programs that used to be restricted to certain use, such as textbooks. Now we are using that in our general fund for other uses, basically classroom uses. There's a list in the memo of that. It's $2.5 million. We're also taking advantage of the CSR flexibility via many of our schools having, going over the 20-to-1 ratio. The federal education jobs funding, that is included in the 11-12 budget. That's one-time money, $2.5 million that we're spending this year. In our projections, we don't put any increases or decreases in for salaries and benefits other than the step-in column increase, which is ongoing. And then we do have built in a 6% increase for health insurance each year. I just wanted to briefly talk about the Orange County tax issue because that's been in the paper. People might have heard about that. The county is redirecting, taking some of our taxes away that normally would come to the school districts, including Fullerton. We're being told now by the County Office of Education that funding will be backfilled by the state. We're not sure where the state is going to get the money, but they told us, don't worry about it, you're going to get it. So right now for us it's more of a cash flow problem, but we should be able to handle that. So just in case you might have heard about that. And then this is what I was just talking about, the cuts. So once we put all of our factors together into our projection, we come down to a line where the cuts, and so you'll see it on through your projection if you wait back there. In order to maintain the required 3% reserve, that's 3% as of June 30th, 2014, we would need to make $3.3 million in ongoing cuts starting July 1st of next year.
And that's if everything came as was projected here with the increases and everything?
Yes. That is correct. So that's a big number. It's smaller than what you saw in June, a lot smaller than what you saw in June, and it's actually come down a little bit since as we've been working on things during the fall. So I don't feel like this is, unattainable, but definitely something we're going to need to be working on. So again, putting everything together, you see the projected unrestricted loss for the 3 years. So we are deficit spending, again, because we ended up last year at the 8% or so, and then we are deficit spending each year to go down. You can see the unrestricted ending fund balance stepping down there, and then the fund balance reserve, and then amount above the 3%. Okay, so again, on this district certification, the district does have to certify first and second interim. We certify positive, qualified, or negative. So we are showing our required reserve, 3% reserve, as of June 30th, 2014. But as Mrs. Sugarman just said, the 3% is only made through the estimate with the estimated cuts being made. We have included the COLA, and as of now, we did not have those potential mid-year cuts from the state in there. And then also, again, it's based upon all of the assumptions that we have put in there. So we are self-certifying qualified, and the qualified certification, which is what the district has had, I think, the last couple of years, indicates the district may not be able to meet its financial obligations for the current fiscal year or the next 2 fiscal years. Okay, so next steps, we will file our report with OCDE for review. We will, now the Department of Finance has released its projection for estimated revenues, and they are going to make those cuts, trigger cuts, so now we'll be working that into our budget and our new projections. The governor will then come out in January with his state budget, and as I said, we're already hearing a lot of speculation about that and what he's going to come out with. And he said he wants it to be like a really realistic budget, but then when you hear he's going to put in this money based upon hoping this initiative is going to pass, and there's a lot of conflicting initiatives. I'm sure you all heard about that too. So that's all up in the air. Our Budget Advisory Committee, we're having our first meeting tomorrow afternoon, 3:30, Pack Drive, and we will be meeting through February, and then we will all together be working on the cuts to be incorporated into the budget.
Thank you.
Okay, one more cartoon. Okay, so this is a cartoon about making projections. Okay, so Dilbert says, as requested, I wrote the business plan to show profitability by year 3. The key revenue assumption is that an armored car crashes through that wall and spills its contents. And don't stand where the comet is seen to strike oil. So. And I do want to thank, we have Steve Miller, our fiscal director, here tonight. Steve is, the architect of this. He puts it all together, does a fabulous job. And I also have Carlene Chandler here from Orange County Department of Education. I'm going to have her come up. She wants to say a few words. It's been great working with her. She kind of takes like a little pre-review of our projections.
And that comes about because of the qualified status, is that right? You want to explain that?
So, yeah, because of our qualified status. So it's nice to have her look at all that.
Thank you. Dr. Hovey, President Sugarman, and members of the board, you've seen me before, so thank you for asking me back. And I thank Mrs. Human and her staff for the excellent job on the report, and all of the backup made it really easy to review. I just wanted to very briefly talk about the COLA a little bit more, only in that to remind the board members that the COLA will change, the guidelines for the COLA will change, I guess, and the COLA will change in January when the governor's budget is announced. He will announce a cost of living adjustment as part of his COLA. And at that time, we may very well know that his budget proposal is a zero COLA.
And at that time, the county office will come out with new guidelines for the school district to follow. And so when the district does its second interim report, they will be using a revised guideline for the COLA. And then it will be revised again for the May revise and the final budget. So it's not a static number. You won't continue to use the 3.1% unless that is the number that comes out in January. So it is a moving target that continues to move as the projections move. I also wanted to just follow up on what Mrs. Hume already told you. The Department of Finance information came out late this afternoon, so we are all just learning about it. And it is somewhat confusing at this time whether the reductions are ongoing or one time. I had the opportunity to listen to part of the governor's press briefing and the director of the Department of Finance. And in one portion, she made it very clear that the Prop 98 reductions were ongoing. Now, I don't know if she was just referring to the revenue limit reductions. So she indicated that those reductions were going to be built into next year's state budget. So there are a lot of unknowns at this time, and so we're just going to have to find out more about this as it goes on. And the governor did make it clear that there will be reductions in the January budget, but he didn't make clear whether those are reductions to education or just reductions to the state budget in general. So we are once again, even though it was good news today that revenue limit reductions don't appear to be of the magnitude that they could have been, we're still in a period of uncertainty. And so I applaud your districts for continuing to take a cautious approach. And we are continuing to urge that districts continue to be cautious and as they look toward the future. So with that.
Can I ask you a question? Are there many districts in Orange County that are in a position like we are of having reserves in excess of the 3% that we're mandated to have, that are choosing to not deficit spend, that are making more severe cuts in the name of maintaining higher reserves? Everybody's spending their reserves when they have them.
The districts are all in different positions, really. There are districts that are down to their minimum reserve in the current year. There are districts that have higher reserves. There are districts that still have furlough days currently. There are districts that have some furlough days and have reinstated some of their furlough days. I mean, they have.
Are you aware of an example of a district that has significantly higher reserves that is also not deficit spending? I'm not off the top of your head.
I'm not off the top of my head. I haven't looked at their most.
Sure. I was just curious.
I'm just going to be looking in the next couple of weeks at their first interim reports. Most of the districts in this current budget did not spend down the reserves. They kept the reserves waiting to see what happened with the trigger language. But some of the districts did reinstate furlough days and did reinstate some other program things that they had cut, but they still kept some of their reserves waiting to see what was going to happen with the trigger language.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming and joining us. Thank you for an excellent report. Jokes were pretty good. Thank you for your help in this. Excellent. And you make it clear so that we really do understand what's going on. We appreciate that. Thank you. Now I'm looking to approve the district's first interim financial report with a qualified certification. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I so move that we approve the district's first interim financial report for the qualified certification.
And Deputy Second? Second. Is there further discussion? All those approve? Aye. All those that do not? It passes 5-0. And we move on to 3A. which is the first reading of our revised board policy 3553. Did anybody have anything that they wanted to comment on this policy? This is our first reading, we will not be taking action.
I had a couple questions.
Okay. Question away.
Okay. As I was reading it, and this is just a comment that I had, the first paragraph and the second paragraph, and I probably should talk to you about it later. If you read it, it sounds like it should be switched to whoever.
This is mine.
Oh, okay.
This is your night.
This is yours, okay. I just thought that the second paragraph
Yes.
of this board policy would be a better opening than the first paragraph.
I have no problems with
Okay,
paragraphs.
and I just thought that,
We basically take this out of the
Right.
that it probably does read better, I'm fine with that.
and then there was just a word, as you're reading the first paragraph, we talk about all districts provide at least one nutritionally adequate meal during each school day, be provided to needy students defined in ed code. It just didn't, it kind of was as defined in ed code maybe. I just thought, if you go back and just reread
Okay, we'll look at
that sentence, it just.
Yes, absolutely.
And then the fifth paragraph down. Yeah, fifth paragraph down. I was just wondering, when we submit or we send the letter and the application form, we mail it to continuing students on or after July 1st. Do we do that each year? To all students each year, we
Yes.
send them that?
Yes,
Okay.
that's true.
But I just wasn't that clear in there, if it was each year.
That's the part that I'm interested in finding out, how we communicate with students. We have 165, I think, within.
Okay, and I'm glad you asked about your break, so I can find that out. So, Amanda Cascara, our director, tells me, first of all, we do work with the local shelters and agencies which serve homeless families, and so they refer students to us immediately.
I didn't mean that we negated their ability to be a participant and then we notify them. We just don't have anything in our policy.
Oh, you want to see in the policy how we communicate with the homeless students, because we also work with our child welfare attendants, because of, the students, because of the program, so they help us out too, so we know which students.
I just don't know if it I guess I didn't say that clearly. I don't know if it needs to be in our board policy, but since we have something very specific about mailing things, they don't have a home. Should we also, my question is, it's really to the pleasure of the board, do we need something in here on how we're going to outreach to those students that are homeless?
And that's where distributed was a better word, because it could be handed to you, mailed to you, emailed to you.
Right.
I think there may be some language in the federal saying that it has to be mailed, not thinking like you're thinking in your line right now. So we want to make sure what may be in the guidelines as well, and then change our language or add something. Because there may be some piece that they want mailed in there, but your point's well taken, that may not be the solution.
Know where to mail it to.
Right.
I don't, if we feel we're doing a good job of communicating that stuff, why tighten the policy or overburden and.
But this limits it.
No, because it also says this information application form shall be provided, whenever new students, so they're not mailed in, so you do provide it whenever there's.
Typically, when they're homeless, they're gonna come register for the new school year, so when they come to register, we make
It's just, I didn't even know why I had to say that we mail it to them.
There's only 100 some odd students.
165.
No, that's only the homeless.
Oh, the homeless.
This is free and reduced.
This is all free and reduced. This isn't just a debt.
No.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do about this, because I struggle with, I struggle, I don't know that I struggle with the fact that I do struggle with it. Encouraging, all of the language about encouraging people to take advantage of handouts bothers me. You know, that it's available when it's needed is one thing, but for this board to join the chorus of those who encourage those who would accept government assistance to do so, when they might be better served in personal growth in their lives to not, even if they could, in their efforts to be personally responsible. And I don't mean to imply that there aren't a lot of people that don't try very hard. I'm not judging those who need this. I think the government goes way too far and there's these outreach programs to take taxpayers' money that is offered to people and we encourage them to take it, you know, and I don't think it's wise. So I haven't made any decisions about it. It's first reading, so I don't have to, but that's what I struggle with. My preference would be that it just factually states that we offer it. Here are the rules that, we accept it because it's federally funded, and here's how it works, and, there you have it. And the notifications, we meet the thresholds required by the federal government for the state in those circumstances, and that's it. But
I absolutely understand what you're saying.
yeah.
I had a couple other things. We listed the people that will have the data on these students. And we've got the directors, there's an array of people. Is there a reason, rhyme or reason, why these individuals will get this information? Because I'm looking at it, and there's a couple that I'm wondering why they would get this information.
Yes, this is really the whole reason why we're updating the policy, because this policy is really being updated to reflect all the rules and regulations of the confidentiality, which is really why we're doing this. And those are the exact positions who at some point might need or will have access to the records of actual names, because those have to be kept very confidential. So that's why we have, because all the, Ted is in there because of the Tech and Media Services gets the information and puts it all together for some of our other funding, federal funding. So that's why the whole system goes together, the whole database goes together. Yeah.
And the only ones privy to it.
Yeah.
Well, no, the director of.
Well, these people, only these.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we have to be really clear in our policy about who we have in there.
And then the next paragraph talks about students transferring to another district or a private school. It's saying that we can release that information. That's all new, right? Is that with parent approval? I didn't see parent approval in here anywhere. I mean, what happens if somebody moves from one district to the other and wants not to claim, maybe they're at a different time of their life? They don't want to take that with them.
It's only if they're requesting.
It didn't, okay, because it didn't say upon request or with parent approval. I didn't catch that. Maybe it's there, but I didn't get it.
I'm sure we can add that in, because that's really what it is. It's a request from the.
Right, I didn't want it to be automatic. I wanted it to be.
Well, it says may. So if our internal procedures, it's a good point, but may doesn't mean will.
Typically, when the requests come, the parents will sign it.
Okay, so
But it was all bolded, so I didn't know what was different.
Approval you need to.
I just didn't want it to happen automatically.
Just add the word if requested.
If anyone has any other suggestions, perhaps you can email them to Susan, and she'll take care of it, and you'll send us your altered version for our next reading.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that a lot. Does anybody have any things they want to suggest for the future? Not hearing any. The next thing isn't on the agenda, but today is the 13th of December, and so we have to sing Jingle Bells. So,
Come on,
did you lead us? Come lead us. Come on, I know you have a voice. Marlene, come on. Okay.
to